They said nothing alive could survive beyond the frost line. The satellites called it a dead zone, a wasteland of endless storms and temperatures that could freeze steel in seconds. But on the night the sky tore open with electric fire, a faint cry echoed across the snowfields. It wasn't human. It wasn't animal. It was something between a whisper and a heartbeat, fragile, desperate, alive. The surveillance drone picked it up first. The operator almost ignored it, assuming it was interference from the magnetic storm. But when he enhanced the signal, the static sharpened into a sound unmistakably real, a cry. Then came the image feed, a lone figure stumbling through white hell. She was half buried, half crawling, clutching something to her chest. At first they thought it was debris. Then when the camera focused, the operator froze. In her arms were two small bundles wrapped in torn metallic fabric, moving weakly. The figure herself, female, humanoid but not human, had skin like frost glass, faintly luminous under the snow. Her eyes, when she looked toward the drone, reflected the light like mirrors, and her breath, what little of it was left trails of vapor that shimmered like silver dust. The outpost team was 3 kilometers away. By the time they reached her signal, she had collapsed. The medtechs dug her out of the snow, finding one infant already blue and the other barely breathing. Her pulse was fading, body temperature near zero. They carried all 3 back to the transport, heat lamps blinding through the storm. Lieutenant Kieran Hale, the lead responder, never forgot the way her fingers wouldn't release the infants. Even unconscious, her arms locked around them with mechanical strength. They had to cut the fabric just to free the children. "She's protecting them," one medic whispered. Even in death, back at the outpost, her vitals flatlined twice. The doctor was ready to declare her gone, until one of the infants, the one with silver hair, let out a weak cry. The mother's chest jerked. Her heart monitor spiked. The lights flickered across the entire medbay. For a full 7 seconds, the temperature rose by 5 degrees as though the room itself responded to her revival. No one spoke. The staff exchanged silent looks. It wasn't just resuscitation, it was something else. Something connected. When she woke 12 hours later, the air monitors caught an electromagnetic pulse radiating from her skin. Small, harmless, but impossible to explain. Hale was there. He'd been there the entire night, watching her breathe, watching the tiny twins in the incubation pods beside her. One with hair white as snow, the other black as coal dust. When her eyes opened, Hale froze. They were not one color, but 2, one silver, one gold. She tried to speak, but the translator implant struggled to match her language. Her first words came out in fragments. "You saved them?" she whispered. He nodded, uncertain how to respond. She exhaled, trembling, eyes wet. "Then your kind is not what they said." Over the next days, fragments of her story emerged. Her name was Sayari, her species, not listed in any known registry. Her people lived far beyond the colonized sectors, in worlds humans had never reached. She'd fled from a warlord who claimed to purify her kind through artificial reproduction. Natural birth, she said, had been outlawed. The twins, her daughters, were the firstborn naturally in generations. For that, the warlord had ordered them executed. Her ship had been hunted, damaged, and forced down in the polar wastes. She walked 3 days through storms, carrying the newborns in her arms. Her own body heat the only warmth they had. No food, no shelter, only will. Hale couldn't understand why this woman, this being, had risked everything for something as fragile as motherhood in a galaxy built on power and logic. But every time he looked at the twins, he understood a little more. They weren't soldiers. They weren't weapons. They were life, something innocent in a universe that had long forgotten innocence. Still, the commander wanted her gone. "We can't keep her here," he told Hale. "She's a liability." "We don't know what she is or what she's transmitting." Hale ignored him. He had seen her eyes when she looked at her daughters, and he had seen the babies respond when she sang to them. Not in words, but in pulses of faint light through her skin. The twins' veins glowed in rhythm with hers. It wasn't communication in any known sense. It was resonance, a living field connecting them. On the 8th night, the alarms triggered. Perimeter sensors went dark. Then the sky lit up. Dozens, maybe hundreds of orbs descending silently through the storm. Metallic, pulsing, each radiating the same energy signature as Sari. The crew armed the defense cannons, but the targeting systems froze. The orbs hovered motionless above the outpost, casting soft golden light that reflected across the snow. Sari walked to the viewport, silent. "They've found me," she said. Hale asked who they were. Her voice trembled. They are my people, or what's left of them. She stepped outside without a suit, barefoot in the snow. The air temperature was -60, but she didn't flinch. The orbs turned toward her as one, humming like a choir of machines. She raised her hand, and a pattern of light rippled through the storm. The orbs responded, flickering faster, then dimmed, slowly fading back into the clouds. When she returned, her lips were blue, skin glowing faintly. "They will not harm you," she said quietly. "They saw what you did. They will remember." That night, the data logs recorded a strange transmission leaving the atmosphere, encrypted, indecipherable, but carrying Hale's name. Over the following weeks, Sari recovered faster than human biology would allow. The twins grew stronger, their eyes changing daily, sometimes gold, sometimes silver, sometimes both. They responded to Hale's voice almost as much as their mother's. He spent hours with them, fascinated by the tiny pulses of light under their skin. Then, one morning, Sari asked him, "Why did you help me?" Hale hesitated. "Because it was right," she smiled faintly. "No species does what is right without reason. Not even yours." He thought for a moment, then said, "Maybe I was tired of watching everything die." She looked at him for a long time, eyes unreadable. "Then perhaps that is your kind's only hope." The base commander eventually reported the incident to Central Command, but the transmission never reached them. Every digital copy of the report corrupted within minutes. Cameras glitched whenever the twins were near. The energy field they emitted grew stronger each day, sometimes flickering across metal walls, forming strange geometric patterns like language. The scientists tried to study it, but the closer they looked, the more their instruments malfunctioned. One night, one of them reached into the containment field without protection. His hand came out covered in frost, yet the frost glowed. It took weeks to fade. He claimed he'd seen images inside the glow, planets, cities, faces, as if the twins carried memories older than any civilization. By the third month, Sayuri began to weaken again. The glow beneath her skin dimmed. She told Hale that her energy was fading, transferring to the children. "It is how my kind ensures survival," she said. When the mother's essence fades, it continues in her offspring. Hale didn't understand. "You mean, you'll die?" She smiled softly. "No, I will live in them, but they will need someone to guide them, someone who believes life is worth saving." When she looked at him, he knew what she meant. Her final hours were silent. She held each twin close, sang something too high for human ears to follow, and then stopped breathing. Her body didn't decay. It crystallized, glowing from within until it became clear as glass. When Hale reached out, his hand passed through a faint shimmer of energy that lingered like mist, then faded. After that, the twins slept for 3 days straight. On the fourth, they both opened their eyes at the same moment and whispered one word. His name. Years passed. Hale never reported what truly happened. The official log said the alien mother died in transit, the children transferred to research custody. But that was a lie. He raised them himself, off record, in an abandoned communications station deep in the mountains. They grew faster than humans. By 5 years, they looked 10. Their intelligence was frightening. They could interface with machines through touch, draw power from the air, even manipulate electromagnetic fields. But despite all that, they were children, laughing, curious, alive. One night, the older twin Saren asked Hale, "Why do you hide us?" He hesitated. "Because the world isn't ready for what you are." She tilted her head. "And when will it be ready?" He sighed. "When it learns that saving someone different isn't a crime." The younger twin smiled. "Then maybe we can teach it." Years later, when Central Command finally tracked Hale's signal, the station was empty. No trace of them, only frost patterns etched on the walls, 2 intertwined symbols glowing faintly in the dark. Witnesses later claimed to see lights moving over the northern peaks, like stars hovering close to Earth. Some said it was just atmospheric drones. Others whispered it was something else, something guarding the edge of the frost line. And every year on the same night, the outpost sensors pick up a faint signal, 3 heartbeats synchronized as one. Kieran Hale's name remains classified. The file is sealed under a code that doesn't match any known registry. But if you ask the old patrolman who served that winter, they'll tell you one thing, that the alien woman who walked through snow to save her children didn't die. She became part of something larger. Something that remembers the hand that reached out instead of pulling the trigger, because sometimes the line between alien and human isn't drawn by blood, but by mercy, and when mercy survives the cold, the universe itself takes notice. If you felt this story, if it made you think, made you feel, or made you believe in something beyond survival, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who still believes humanity can do better. Because somewhere, out there, kindness is still being watched and remembered.